What's up, YouTube? This is your boy, Porter Rock 77, PR77. You know how we do. Welcome back to the 60 Frames No Like podcast, where we talk the topics we need to talk about. Of course, I'm your host with no special guests, because we all know we like to get down to the nitty-gritty. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna talk about a few things today, keeping it real. Um, I hope everything's going good for you guys. You know what I'm saying? I hope you enjoy gaming. Lots of stuff to talk about. Yeah, you know that sound. I need you people to remind everyone what that sound, who that song belongs to. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a little dude trying to bring that little crazy inception into your life. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, hey, thanks for stopping by. Thank you. For those listening live, thank you for spending the time to join up with me. For those of you who aren't live and you're listening to recording, I hope you enjoy what's going on. Talk about a few things, you know what I'm saying? So let's start off. Yesterday was Xbox 15th anniversary. Happy birthday, Xbox. I made a couple of tweets about it. But when I think of Xbox birthday, I think of the OG Xbox. And the reason why I think of that, obviously it's the first console. But when I owned the Xbox, it felt like the successor to the Dreamcast. It felt like the Dreamcast 2. You know what I'm saying? And there was some great games on that box. It was, I would like to say Xbox was niche, because there's a lot of people that never owned the Xbox. A lot. You know, the Xbox 360 jumped to 80 plus million, sales and stuff like that, while their OG Xbox was around 23. So you know what I'm saying? So only about 25%, I would say, of current Xbox owners actually own the OG. And it was a great platform for its time. Despite the fact that, the PS2 dominated that gen, the Xbox, in itself, it was a great console to own. Namely, there was some great games. I remember playing Otogi 1 and 2. Ninja Gaiden Black was one of my favorite games. Period. It's one of my favorite games. Such an amazing and challenging game. Knights of the Old Republic. And of course, you got Halo, Fable, and Gears of War. And I mean, not Gears of War, Halo, Fable, and Forza. Started on those, you know what I'm saying? But at that time, those games were fresh, new IPs. It was amazing. I remember playing Mech Assault, and the multiplats were better ran. And the one thing I like was the hard drive. You know what I'm saying? Because at the time, PlayStation 2 was using the memory cards, and it was annoying as hell, those memory cards. You know what I'm saying? But and then of course Xbox Live, and I think that was a game changer. Granted, online gaming was done on PC. PC was doing online gaming, so Microsoft had it right. You know what I'm saying? They just had it. They just had it down pack. HP North just made a comment. Happy seeing PlayStation, Nintendo saying happy birthday. Yeah, that was pretty cool of them. And you got to recognize the contribution Xbox did. Microsoft had it right with the online. I know a lot of people complain because it was during that Xbox that people had to pay $50 a year for online service, and PlayStation 2 had online, and it was free, but it wasn't that good. It was fragmented. You had to get a username and password for EA games. You need a username and password for Ubisoft, for Capcom, for Sony first party. So every major publisher had a separate account. They weren't linked. They didn't do voice chat. They didn't do voice messaging. It was very challenging on that. You know what I'm saying? It was a very fragmented network. I mean, it worked. You did play your games and stuff like that. And if you only played one type of online game, because I know a lot of people who say PS2 was great, it was a great online. I noticed the only game they were really playing was a single type game, like the SOCOM players. That was really the only thing they played. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if all you played was SOCOM 2, and SOCOM 3, you wouldn't notice how fragmented the network. If all you played was EA games, Madden, and NBA Live, yeah, you wouldn't notice that, because all your friends and everything you do is on that publisher. You understand? If all you did was play Ghost Recon on Ubisoft, same thing. But you noticed it if you played various games of various companies. You go play Ghost Recon, and you're like, all right, I'm going to go play SOCOM. Well, the people you play Ghost Recon with weren't on SOCOM. Between the two, unless they so happen to have another username and password that you would write down, and it will be totally different than the one they're using on Ghost Recon. So it was very fragmented on the PlayStation. It worked, you know what I'm saying? But it was very annoying. Xbox Live was so much smoother and so much cohesive, even for $50 a year. It was a great network. And then also I was playing Fantasy Star Online on that. It was just a great thing. And the thing that made it great for me was that the Xbox was the spiritual successor of Dreamcast. It felt like the Dreamcast. It felt like a Sega console, and I was a Sega fanboy. I was a Sega fan. I ain't gonna say fanboy because I love Nintendo too. I love Nintendo's older console. But after seeing how Saturn was, and then when Sega released Dreamcast, that was a great console. But Sega made too many mistakes to turn back. You know what I'm saying? The Dreamcast was doomed to fail. Sega just made too many mistakes, and they couldn't upkeep with the console. So when that console died and the Xbox came out, Xbox came out, I was like, whatever. But then when I saw it was going to get Shenmue and all this, I'm like, you know what? Let me try it out. It was amazing. The console was just absolutely amazing. It was a great console. So that's my thing right there, with the 15th anniversary. So great contribution, long-lasting impact. Even with the 360, long-lasting impact with like achievements and trophies became huge. It's just a big part. So congratulations, Xbox, on your 15th anniversary. Well deserved. But the topic, a storm is coming. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna get to that later. That's gonna be the topic to talk about, the storm. But let me hit up on some other things. So Pro released last week. You know what I'm saying? Been a week, and is reporting some issues. I know one, PS News Now. If you check up his YouTube channel, very popular, probably one of the more popular PlayStation channels. And he's a decent dude. He's not a fanboy channel. A very decent dude. Got like 8,000 subscribers, so a very popular channel, on the PlayStation side. But his launch console when he got from Amazon, it didn't read most of his discs. So he went to the retail store, bought a new PlayStation, and just sent back the one in Amazon and got his money back. And now the PlayStation currently has worked perfectly fine. So that was the first issue I heard about, was disc reading error. The console didn't read a lot of PlayStation 4 discs. And then the thing that's the smoking gun now is PlayStation overheating, and that got carried away. I will say this, and I'm not going to dwell too long. I'm going to say this. All mechanical products have some type of defect. It's just the nature of the beast. Sad, but it's the nature of the beast. The reason why it seems more prevalent now is only because of the information age. We have access to, because of Twitter, and Periscope and all these social apps. We know the moment you stub your toe in the middle of an Alaskan forest. You understand what I'm saying? There's nothing secret no more. You understand what I'm saying? There's nothing secret. Nothing is held secret. Right now the people with iPhones provide on-the-spot news before the newspapers catch it. You understand? I remember going back into 1991, if some of you are old enough to remember, is the Rodney King. You remember that he got his ass whooped by the LAPD. And whatchamacallit, he got his ass up. Yeah, it's up. I got 7. My man. Hey, thank you for showing up, everybody. You know what I'm saying? But I remember, Rodney King got his ass whooped, and it's simply because a man had a camera. So something like that you will rarely see. Now you see police whooping people's ass on a daily basis where it's normal. The point what I'm trying to say is the information age, when somebody's shit is broken within 5 minutes. Because as soon as something's broken, people will go on Twitter. So really the concern we have to look out for is if this is something that's really huge, or if it's along the lines of, consoles, just going through its normal defect phase, the 10%, 15% defect rate. So we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't get to that. Namely because not so much, fanboys, it's just people pay $400 and they should enjoy this holiday with their new console. You know what I'm saying? And I say that with any product. Same thing could happen. You buy a new 4K TV and it goes to shit. That's just terrible. So hopefully it doesn't get out of hand, and hopefully it's something it could get turned over rather quickly. I know another issue people are having is connectivity. Their Prius Pro syncing with certain TVs. That right there is probably going to have to be handled through a patch. Hopefully Sony's working on that, to make the console more compatible with the various 4K products out there and stuff. Now, with the meltdown, yeah, somebody took I saw that picture. It's the moment you look at the picture, you clearly saw it's bullshit. One, why would somebody ruin a product that they paid $399 for is beyond me. The guy couldn't even, at least if he's gonna fanboy, at least do it right. He burned a spot where it's impossible to melt because that's where the fan is at, And I think by now we all know that when consoles heat, they just shut down. They don't like melt plastic. A console doesn't keep going to the point where the exterior plastic will melt. Main reason is if it gets that hot to the point where you're about to melt the exterior plastic, I'm gonna tell you why. So don't get me asked. If the console gets that hot to the point where the exterior will melt like that, you know what's gonna melt first? Solder and the components. And as soon as those components get loose, the thing will shut down. That's why it's not gonna melt. The only way a plastic exterior will melt like that is if it ignites on fire instantly. You understand what I'm saying? The console would have to instantly ignite on fire where there's a flame. Now it doesn't matter if the console's off or not. You got a flame going, and the flame is what's cooking the plastic, melting. That's the way to do it. But just regular heat is gonna melt the motherboard first. The motherboard is gonna go first before anything else, and it's not gonna ignite on fire. It's gonna melt, or mostly what's really is gonna do. The motherboard itself is not really gonna melt. It's the solder. The solder is gonna get soft, and the resistors, the transistors, all the components is gonna loosen, and then it's just not gonna work. It's just gonna go boom. It's just gonna. That's it. It's just gonna turn off. But for the exterior plastic to get that hot, that means the internal is hot as hell, which means the thing would have shut off long before. So really, the only way external is gonna make a hole or char like that is if you literally ignite a flame. A flame is gonna have to ignite. You know what I'm saying? And most of these components, they make it to try to prevent from being ignited. So it's not going to ignite into a flame. You're not going to ever see something like that. That's just craziness. What's going to happen is if it gets that hot, the motherboard will warp a little bit, the solder is going to loosen up, the components will loosen up, and then the system will shut down and never turn on again. And that's pretty much what would happen to the console. I know a lot of people that own the console are saying that it's producing a lot of heat. It's producing a lot of heat. Now, here's the thing, and this is what some people don't understand. There are products, electronic products, that produces a lot of heat that when you touch it, you're like, man, this shit's super hot. Believe it or not, that's the way the product is. The company released the product with that heat. What they try to do is they test the manufacturing, the components, the motherboard to withstand that heat. And as long as it withstands that heat, then it's just going to stay and run hot. And that's the intent of the console. It's weird, but, especially like if you ever notice, like let's say like in a server room or something, a lot of those servers are hot as fuck. You know what I'm saying? But that's just really how they made the product and stuff like that. The main thing is where the product may go out of hand is if you don't have it enough ventilation or in a well ventilated area. Meaning, you stick it in a like a theater thing, home theater setup, and it has like a little glass cover, and you close it. Now it's cooking inside this little closed area, then your console's gonna fuck up. Or a lot of people don't realize if you lay it on top of carpet, you're not really supposed to lay your console on top of a carpet. That traps heat, and then it just gets hotter and stuff like that. But overall, I don't want to stay too long on this topic. Overall, we'll just see. Of course, there's an agenda. People want to talk crap. People want to try to spread saying that it's a shitty product and stuff like that. But in reality, let's just hope, it's just the normal. I think it's like 10 to 15% defect rate on most console games. And let's just hope it's just that people who bought a Pro are enjoying it. Because that's at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Just enjoy the product. You know what I'm saying? Hope you bought it. If you got a 4K TV, you're in good hands. And I hope you're enjoying the game. Stuff I'm saying. Next thing to talk about real quick, just to go over. Xbox wins another MPD. Official numbers will come out on the 21st, I think, or actually this week. We'll see more numbers specifically. But supposedly, there's a chance that, obviously, I would say, my opinion, there'll probably be the separation, the numbers between Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 might even be bigger for this month because of the wait for the PS4. A lot of people went for the PS4, so I'm thinking PS4 numbers will be lower than normal, but then numbers are going to jump in November. November is going to be an interesting time. PS4 reporting numbers are up in Japan, UK 208%, and we'll see how PS4 Pro do when November MPT comes out in December. But it's 4 months in a row. For Xbox, so saying it's going up. A lot of people's attracting and stuff like that. So good for the brand, all right? Game Award nominees. Have you guys checked out and saw the list of nominees? Let me look at it. Yo, it's crazy because I just saw that. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, fucking Xbox got snubbed big time. Of course, man, it's gonna be interesting to see because we're gonna see media bias. I'm sorry. You're gonna see some. Yo, I can't stop laughing. Yo, it's crazy. It's just bananas. But hold on, let me put up the game awards nominees. Let me just put that. Um, Let me put that up here. Here are the Game Awards 2016. It's going to be unveiled December 1st. All right, so it's going to be pretty cool. We'll see a stream. But right now, what we got here, so the Game of the Year nominees. So you got Doom, Inside, Overwatch, Titanfall 2, and Uncharted 4. So Uncharted 4 is the only exclusive that's made it to Game of the Year. In fact, Naughty Dog got like 8 nominations, so that's incredible. You know what I'm saying? The surprise is Titanfall 2 made it, but not Battlefield. You know what I'm saying? That shit's crazy. I didn't see that coming. Now, granted, I never played Titanfall 2 yet. I see a lot of people, some people who are, who are all into Titanfall 2. Some of them are saying that's the best shootout now, better than Gears, better than Battlefield, better than Call of Duty. So you never know. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it is. I know the Xbox community is going to be real mad at this list, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Best game direction, you got Blizzard for Overwatch, Battlefield, Doom. So Doom got another nomination. Titanfall and Naughty Dog. It's just, I think Xbox Nation, the Xbox community, they're going to be mad at the fact that Gears of War, Forza 3, Forza Horizon 3 got snubbed. Some are even saying Quantum Break. Now, I'll tell you this. I never played Quantum Break, so I can't give you my personal opinion on the game and the quality of the game itself. Only those who played it. But I can tell you Quantum Break had no chance of being nominated for Game of the Year. Now, it's not because, I'm giving my personal opinion, but you look at Metacritic, it didn't do good in Metacritic. Now, understand this. The Game Critic Awards are decided by, various, I'll tell you right now, I could read it. In fact, instead of me telling you, I could read it off of here. Where is it? They make a statement. Where's it at? Here you go. A panel of judges from 29 international publications, including Polygon, selected the nominee for the Game Awards. You see what I'm saying? What I'm trying to say is a lot of people who are part of the panel are also reviewers for these games. And the average reviews for Quantum Break were not that good. So what makes you think you're going to get a game that on average didn't, got okay social reviews are going to be nominated for Game of the Year? That game had no chance. And it's not because of the quality, of my opinion, but some of the people who review games and it ends up on Metacritic are the same people that do the Game Critic Awards. You know what I'm saying? So you got to do the odds. What's Metacritic for? How much you call it? Quantum Break, like 76 or something like that. There's no chance of that game going to be on the Game Awards for Game of the Year. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Gears of War. Gears of War 4 probably a great game, but the Metacritic's like 85. So it's so. I mean, it's possible. It is what it is. But I know I could see that's going to be a heart attack for the Xbox community. That not a single Xbox game got nominated. Now, Forza, I will say this, and what I mean, maybe I'm a little biased. Fuck it, I may be biased against racing games, but I never seen Gran Turismo, Forza, or any of them shits as Game of the Year overall, almost in every award. And in my opinion, not knocking people of racing games, but I'll be damned if a Game of the Year is a fucking game where you're rewarded for making left turns the best. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. Maybe I'm being stupid, and I apologize for sounding ignorant. But come on, man. It's a fucking racing game, man. You guys are challenging yourselves on who can fucking make a better left turn than the next guy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, put it in the sports category, racing category. In my opinion, I don't think it should be in the sports category. It should have its own category as racing. Because now you're comparing Forza with baseball and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? In football and basketball, I think it should have its own category. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'm sorry. That's my flaw. My flaw is I do not like racing games. I don't like driving games. Like even driving in Grand Theft Auto annoys me. That's how bad I don't like driving games. I just don't like it. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't do anything for me. I'd rather play like an airplane game or a mech game. You know, at least you're flying around shooting shit and blowing shit up. You know, I enjoyed the driving in Mad Max. Does that count? I mean, granted, you drive a lot, but you know, at the same time, I'm ramming my car into shit. You know, and I'm launching rockets and all this crazy shit. I don't know. It's just me, man. But I'm not knocking for people who enjoy racing games. I know you guys love the feeling of just driving, especially those who dedicate themselves with getting wheels and pedals, and they get that real simulated feel of a car. You know, like, granted, not everybody could afford a Lamborghini and take it on the track, so I guess it's the next best thing. So good on you guys. You know. But yeah, the game awards, man, tomorrow's multiplayer podcast is gonna be interesting and stuff like that. But yeah, so it is what it is. So now, is there anything else I want to cover real quick? Did I cover called Pro Game Awards, MPD? Yep. All right. So now to the big topic. Happy birthday, Xbox, which you already covered, but a storm is coming. You know what I'm saying? And the Xbox community is not talking about it. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, because I'm not bringing this up because of fanboy or I want to fan the flames of all that shit. That's not what I'm doing here. I know you if you see a lot of podcasts, a lot are talking about, oh, Sony needs to do better. Sony needs to do better. You know, Microsoft is doing great. Sony's doing better. And in my opinion, I think if Sony does even better, they're going to monopolize the industry. Now, here's what I'm saying. The storm is coming, and this is what I mean. The holiday season's over, and Microsoft only got like one game left to release, which is Dead Rising. And let's be honest, Dead Rising ain't a super huge franchise. It was going downhill. It's been going downhill since its launch. All right? So pretty much you got Dead Rising. It's coming out, you know? But now look at the thing that's going to happen. December, you got The Last of Us. I mean, not The Last of Us, The Last Guardian for PlayStation, right? And now you're going to kick off 2017, right? Sony's done with hardware. They're done. They got it out there. It's out on the market. They have nothing else to worry about. Now, obviously, on the low somewhere in the research and design, the R&D department, they're looking into their PS5, but that's not coming out anytime soon. Right now, Sony's no longer have to worry about launching PlayStation VR and PlayStation Pro. It's done. It's a done deal. It's out there. They're just going to keep filling shelves up and people buy them. So what does that mean? I mean, Sony's only focuses on one thing, and that's games and services. That's it. They're not doing nothing more. There's no more expectation of how VR is going to play out. No more of what Pro, explaining Pro this, explaining VR that, what VR is going to do for gaming, what Pro's going to do. None of that. That shit's over with. It's done. You understand what I'm saying? All that's done. There was one more thing I want to talk about, so I'll leave that for last. But all that's done. It's over. Sony focuses on the game, right? So what do you see? And hell, you can already tell because you saw. Have y'all seen the King commercial where they show Spider-Man, God of War, they show Horizon Zero Dawn? You know, some people have a problem with that commercial or with that advertisement. You know what I'm saying? Say, oh, why is Sony showing games? You know, why are they showing a holiday commercial with games that don't come out till next year, 2018? Well, let's talk about a few things. Number one, who says it's a holiday commercial? Who says it's specifically for the holidays? That commercial could be played all year round. They don't have like a winter holiday theme. They didn't say these games were available out now. They didn't say anything. They're just showing PlayStation, and you notice they show the games. Now look at the stark contrast. Look at the mentality that's already changing. Remember, Sony was talking about the Pro VR hardware. That shit's over with. You know what I'm saying? It's over with. Right? What commercial do you see Xbox, if you do see a commercial for Xbox? You see them talk about the Xbox One S. You see the commercial introducing the new Xbox One S. You know, it's a female commercial, a female voice. You know, it says 4K Blu-ray player, which I find that odd. That's the first thing they mention. You know, the only console with 4K Blu-ray player. They're 4K streaming. You know, so they're saying HDR gaming, to which they don't have a lot of HDR games. So you see that commercial, right? But then you see Sony's commercial. They're showing games. They're not showing you hardware. They're showing you God of War. They're showing you, you know, or at least the character of God of War. They're showing Spider-Man. Then you see Horizon Zero Dawn. So they're showing, advertising their games. They're like, hey, these are games that's going to be on this platform. Microsoft You're not seeing commercials of Scalebound. You're not seeing commercials of Halo Wars 2. You're not seeing commercials of what else? Crackdown. You're not seeing commercials of Cuphead. You know what I'm saying? You're not seeing any of these commercials. State of Decay 2. So how do these, understand this? Not every gamer, I would say, hell, the majority of gamers aren't like us, where we're in the know the moment something is out, the moment something's at E3, or we see a video from the Xbox channel. You have to keep pushing that information out there. A lot of people, I guarantee, still don't know about Crackdown. They still don't know about Scalebound. They still don't know about Cuphead or Halo Wars 2. You know what I'm saying? They have to push that. Now, when you talk about, and this is why I'm bringing up the Storm, when you think of Xbox 2017, games that you know that is coming out now with a date, what game do you think about? Now, everybody says, oh, yeah, Scalebound. I'd be like, oh, yeah, cool, Scalebound. When is it coming out? The answer is, I don't know. Well, let's look. You go on Google, it just says 2017. I'm like, okay, so we don't know when Scalebound's coming out. What else? They'd be like, oh, yeah, we got Crackdown. Okay, when is it coming out? Well, I don't know. All right, let's look on Google. It says 2017. Cuphead, Sea of Thieves. None of these games have an actual retail date. The only game that has a retail date, and I can tell you right now, is Halo Wars 2. And it's February 21st, I think. February 21st or 12th. My dyslexia is kicking in. Where is it? Yeah, February 21st. That's the game that has a release date. February 21st. Right? So we're going to go into 2017 knowing Xbox has one game, one exclusive game, Halo Wars 2. We don't know about Crackdown. We know it's 2017, but we don't know when. So we don't know about Crackdown. We don't know about Scalebound. We don't know about Cuphead. We don't know about State of Decay 2. Right? We already know Forza 7 or Forza 6, whatever the next one is. That's always a September game. So we know that's coming out later in the year. But what about these four? Microsoft doesn't have an event anytime soon to announce games release date. So Microsoft is treading dangerous territory if they are holding these games for a fall release or a release date that's close to the Scorpio. Because I think that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to take these games, Scalebound. I think what's going to happen is in June at E3, you're going to see Scalebound in Scorpio mode. Whatever mode they call it, but, powered by Scorpio. You're going to see Crackdown powered by Scorpio. You're going to see Sea of Thieves powered by Scorpio. You're going to see, what's the other game? Scalebound, State of Decay powered by Scorpio. And then you're going to get like the August, September, October, November release date with these games that coincide with Scorpio, which would be disastrous in my opinion. It sounds good, you know what I'm saying? It sounds good for Scorpio, but what are you guys going to do now? Some of you've bought Xbox One S. You know what I'm saying? Some of you've been owning the Xbox One S since August. And you're telling me Microsoft's not going to take care of you guys? They're just going to let third-party multiplats, they're just going to let you write it out with third-party multiplats this whole time? That means January got no exclusives. February, you got Halo Wars 2. March, April, May, June, July, nothing. They won't release nothing because they want to hold it on to Scorpio. You know what I'm saying? That shit will be disastrous for Microsoft because guess who's releasing games during that period? It's Sony. You know what I'm saying? Yakuza is coming out. You got Neo. In fact, Sony just paid to publish the game worldwide. So what I didn't know was Neo could have been on the Xbox. If another publisher would have got the rights to publish it, it could have went on Xbox. But Sony took the publishing rights for the whole, to release it worldwide. So now it's definitely a PlayStation exclusive. Horizon Zero Dawn is also, you know what I'm saying? You got MLB The Show, which is in March. You know what I mean? And that's like, so what I said off the top of my head, Yakuza, Gravity Rush 2, Horizon Zero Dawn, Neo, MLB, that's 5 games in just 3-month period. Persona, if you haven't heard the news, they delayed it to April, which is probably a good idea considering how stacked the first 3 months is. So chances are they moved it over to April because you already got 5 games right off the bat in just the first 3 months, which is insane. So Persona 5 is now an April launch. You know what I'm saying? They pulled it away from that really that thick thing. You know what I'm saying? And this whole time, Sony's just gonna push games. That's all they're gonna push because they got no more hardware to talk about. That's already done. It's already out there. For better or for worse, regardless of how we feel, if Sony didn't make a more powerful enough console or they made a good enough console, whatever's the opinion, it's out there. Sony got nothing to worry about. All right, it's just done. It is what it is. Okay. Now here's the bigger kicker. So I already mentioned the games that come out January, February, March. Now, some of those games, I understand everybody has personal taste on what game they like and what game they don't like. But you cannot deny the fact that the conversation of gaming will be talked about. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with the Xbox. You know, I don't give a shit about Forza. Again, I don't care about racing games. But there is no doubt that there was so much conversation behind the game. You know what I'm saying? The conversations behind Forza, the conversations behind Gears, the conversation behind Recore. People on the Xbox was talking about games. That's what you do with exclusives. At the very least, awareness comes out. That's all you're going to hear in January, February, March. You're going to hear so much conversations among the PlayStation community about games because they're always going to have a new game to talk about. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, to add salt to the wound, not only is Sony's pushing out, exclusive IPs. Oh yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2.8 as well on top of that. You know what I'm saying? For some reason, it's not coming out on Xbox. So that's even more conversation. Think about this. Next year, we might see Kingdom Hearts 3. But if PlayStation's pushing Kingdom Hearts 2.8, then all the noise, people will gravitate towards that console to play Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, again, to add salt to the wound, you know what I'm saying? To make this storm into a maelstrom, think about this. Sony's monopolizing the top third-party games for marketing. You know what I'm saying? Sony got the marketing rights. Obviously, they got the marketing rights for Call of Duty. We already know that. Okay? But next year, supposedly, Destiny 2 is coming out. They got the marketing rights for the Destiny franchise. All right? They got the marketing rights to Mass Effect. Tell me that's not bananas. Mass Effect. They got the marketing rights. So you'll be seeing that. They got the marketing rights for Red Dead Redemption 2, possibly the biggest third-party IP out there. And they got that. So bad enough, Microsoft only has Halo Wars 2 as the only exclusive that has a date. They don't have anything else. And they got marketing rights for like Tekken. You know what I'm saying? Which is not a bad game, but think of how much noise Mass Effect is going to make. How much noise Red Dead Redemption is going to make. That shit is bananas. It's insane. How much noise Destiny 2 is going to make. You know what I'm saying? That's insane, The Xbox community, you need to prepare yourselves, especially those who were ragging on the PlayStation community for having no games or whatever. Y'all need to prepare. Y'all need to batten down the hatches because there's going to be a rough 2017. Microsoft, in my opinion, needs to push out something for the Scorpio because that's the only play you got left. Either that or actual release date. Release all these great games that are going to be on Xbox. Scalebound, Crackdown. Release them early. Don't wait till the end of the year. Don't wait till September to release these games. People need something to talk about. You know what I'm saying? This Mass Effect release date is supposed to be in March. It's supposed to be, from what I'm hearing. A March release date. I didn't get a specific date, but supposedly last thing they're trying to look at a March release date. Gran Turismo Sports, another game that's on PlayStation. That might come out next year. Xbox needs to release these games early. They need to stop with let's stack the holiday season. That is too long. You're talking an 8-9 month wait to play games while everybody's talking about PlayStation games throughout that whole time period. That you just got to stop that. Believe me, the holiday season is stacked with multi-plats. You know what I'm saying? Some of the biggest multi-plats come out in the holiday season. We already saw what it did to Titanfall 2. You know what I'm saying? Hell, even Call of Duty numbers are down. You know what I'm saying? Too many big games during that period. They have to be smart. Microsoft's heading into a storm in 2017. And then let me add another layer of that. The Xbox One S console is supposed to do HDR gaming. It's capable of HDR gaming. But now, if you own an Xbox One S right now, how many games are you actually playing in HDR? And how many games you know are coming to Xbox One S with HDR enabled? If you own it right now, if you're looking at your console right now, how many games have you played in HDR? You know what I'm saying? That's insane. There's like 4 maybe or 5 at the most. You gotta think what Gears of War, Forza Horizon 3, and then the 2 multiplats. Deus Ex and one more. Oh, and NBA. You know what I'm saying? That's you got to be careful with that. That's crazy. Imagine does Microsoft have a policy that forces future games to be HDR enabled on Xbox? I don't know. Sony does. Any game that comes out in October and beyond has to support Pro mode and HDR on the PS4 Pro, mandatory. So every game that's coming out from here on out is going to have HDR and support some type of Pro mode on the PlayStation Pro. That's a mandatory thing that developers have to do. What is it on Xbox? You know, because if you want Xbox One S and you go, I think the next game that's going to be HDR on Xbox is Final Fantasy because Phil Spencer tweeted it. And I think that's the only thing I know now. I don't know if Dead Rising 4 is going to be HDR enabled. We don't know. And that's crazy. You understand what I'm saying? So you got the combination of not ensuring Xbox One is going to support HDR in certain games because of, developer choice. You only have one game that's with a release date in February compared to a lot of games that have release dates on the PlayStation 4. You know what I'm saying? And then the huge, biggest marketing rights to some of the biggest games are on PlayStation, while Xbox has little to no marketing rights. And the marketing rights they do have is like, Tekken, maybe Madden. They might get, Madden again next year. You know what I'm saying? That's just insane, So there's going to be a huge storm that's coming next year. And Sony no longer has to worry about hardware. It's done. The money they pay for research and design, trying to get the message out, it's over. At this point, Sony's just got to focus on games. We're already halfway into the gen. It's already hit the 3-year mark. That's it. They're just going to focus on games. They're just going to be pushing games. My thing, Microsoft needs to push out these IPs. They need to make an announcement, whether it's December, January, do something and say, hey, Scalebound launching in March 15th, whatever. Crackdown launching in April. Sea of Thieves launching in May. Just push the games out. Don't try to create a scenario where you're gonna hold on to these games for 9 months, 10 months, and then when you release the Scorpio, you'll be like, hey, look, we're releasing the Scorpio, and here are all these great new IPs right alongside it. No one's gonna try to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna keep people dry for 9 months and then expect, the majority of gamers are gonna congratulate you for holding on to these games, because these games we've been knowing about them since 2015. Scalebound, Crackdown, Cuphead, Sea of Thieves. These games were all announced in 2015, so we know about them. You know what I'm saying? What Microsoft needs to do, release them early, and then let E3 introduce new games. You know what I'm saying? For the fall or for like the following year. But don't purposely hold on to them. Don't purposely put gamers and lock them in a closet, starve them for like weeks. And then when you open the door, give them a cheeseburger or something, and then you expect thank you for, for this food. No, motherfucker, you got us locked in starving for weeks. And in this case, months. Microsoft better be careful, because if they don't release content, and I'm gonna tell you now, they better not think backwards compatibility is gonna save them. I'm sorry. Listen, it's a great feature for you Xbox, for the Xbox community. It's a great feature for any console. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you collect the games and you still have them, or you bought them digitally and you still have access to them, it's an awesome feature. But if Microsoft announces next year, hey, we put Perfect Dark Zero backwards compatibility as content for the first 6 months of the year, you guys, Microsoft's on crack. You would be bugging. Don't even think that backwards compatible games is what's gonna fill your plate for the first 6 months of 2017. No. That you have to be bugging on that. Playing Viva Pinata or Perfect Dark Zero, Cameo, or whatever other game is not gonna fucking fulfill that need. People bought Xbox One to play Xbox One games. It's cool to have backwards compatibility, but not in the absence of games for the console. Especially if you bought the Xbox One S, you upgraded from vanilla Xbox One to Xbox One S. You did it for a reason. So not only do you want new games, they better be in HDR. And how about updating some of the more popular Xbox One games to HDR? I'm pretty sure some of you who still play Halo, the biggest exclusive multiplayer game out there, and definitely one of the most popular online games on Xbox One. Some of you bought Xbox One S, but still playing Halo without HDR. Pretty sure you want that game updated. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I hope Microsoft don't rest on their laurels and just strictly focus on Scorpio, because it's not fair. You have a lot of people who bought the Xbox One S, and they're just gonna stay with the Xbox One S. They're not gonna buy the Scorpio. Because to them, what they have is a great product. They can watch their movies. The console does HDR gaming, and they're happy with the upscaling 4K on their 4K TV. It looks good. It looks nice. They're happy with it. Support those guys. Release the content. Break out games early in the year. Do not worry about having 3 or 4 major games in the holiday season, but yet you're going to keep the first 8, 9 months, 10 months dry. Don't worry about that. It's high dynamic range. HDR is high dynamic range. What it is, it makes your colors more vibrant. Like the brightness more luminescent. It just look it up. But long story short, the colors are just so more vibrant. I think it goes from like 8 million to like 8 billion colors. It just makes the game just look so much more vibrant, as compared to non-HDR games, And the Xbox One does that. But you need the content to support it. And right now, Xbox One only has like 4 or 5 games, while the PlayStation is already supporting 30 plus games, and it just came out, I'm hoping Microsoft is not being maybe lazy or complacent. Complacent is a better word. I hope they're not being complacent with Xbox One S, simply because right now they're focusing on Scorpio. They need to do right by the console. It's a popular console. A lot of people are getting it. Bring out the HDR games. Ensure third party are updating your games with HDR. You know what I'm saying? And release the content early. I mean, if the game's not ready, then it's not ready. But if the game is ready, don't purposely hold it till October, simply because that's when Scorpio comes out, and you want to make Scorpio look good, right? The final thing, and here's my thing, is Scorpio price. So I guess Phil Spencer, I don't think he replied directly to God, what's that dude's name? The analyst. That's always I forgot his name off the top of my head, but there's an analyst, Michael Patcher. There you go. So Michael Patcher made a comment saying that it would be suicide for Xbox to release a console at over the price of $399. Now, of course, Michael Patcher, he's in on the fanboy war. He knows the console war. So sometimes he's gonna make stuff that's dramatic, and get his name out there. Of course, Phil Spencer made a reply saying that it's a premium product and stuff like that, and that's what consumers want. The gist of this, if people were to ask me my opinion on what I think is going to be Xbox, the Scorpio's price, I think at a minimum $499. Some people say no, it could be $399. My opinion, no chance. No chance of that thing being $399. If it's $399, then Microsoft made concessions. You know what I'm saying? But if it's the console that is being hyped to be the uncompromised 4K beast, then it's going to be more than $399, point blank. I mean, let's take a look at the Xbox One S, right? It's only 1.4 teraflops. It has a Blu-ray components to play Blu-ray movies. It upscales 4K and it does HDR and a 500 gig hard drive, and it's $299. So you're gonna tell me if you remove the guts and you put in a GPU, the latest CPU, and 12 gigs of RAM, that's only gonna cost, and now you created the Scorpio, it's only gonna cost $100 more to do that? No way. No way. There is no way. Just a mere extra $100 and you're gonna have a Scorpio level hardware. Okay, let's look at the PS Pro. PS Pro is $399 and is using the same family of Jaguar cores, which is 3-year-old tech. right? Same amount of RAM, 8 gigs, faster RAM, but it's the same amount. The only thing new is the Polaris GPU. And Sony's using the low end, like the 480 one. The low end Polaris GPU. You know, so you got the same Jaguar cores, low end Polaris, and the same amount of RAM, $399. You understand what I'm saying? You're gonna tell me that a console that uses the Vega GPU, which is not even out yet, the Zen Core CPU, not even out yet, and 12 gigs of RAM is only gonna cost $399? There's no way. There is no way. Not a prayer. Listen, I'm telling you this. I'm being nice saying $499. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing's $599, but I'm gonna say $499 because I think Microsoft is smart enough to know. At least I hope they're smart enough to know that a $599 Scorpio is a hard sell. It's going to be a really hard sell. $600 consoles don't do good sales at all. It does not good sales at all. I know some people are now going to try to rewrite history and say, well, the PlayStation 3 was selling good at $600. No, it was not. If you don't believe me, I want you to type and say, I'll type it in right now. All right? I'll type it in right now. Go to Google. And I'm going to type in this. April 2007 NPD. Google search. Okay? Google search. All right? The first link, here we go. We'll go to the fourth link. NPD, best-selling games of April 2007. Nope, go to the fifth link, Wired.com. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wired.com, April NPD sales. Okay? April NPD sales. All right? Wii, 360K. PS3. Oh, I got an advertisement that's blocking my view. Let's go. Get out of here. 82K. Okay? To give you an example, the Xbox 360 sold 174K on April 2007. The PlayStation 3 sold 82,000. I want you to think about that. This was April 2007. So the PS3 launched in November 2006. So that's November, December, January, February, March, April. In just 6 months. 82K. That's how low it sold. If you're looking at it right now. To give you an idea how bad 82K is, the Game Boy Advance. Now keep in mind, the Nintendo DS was already out. In fact, if you look at the NPD, Nintendo DS sold 471K. Okay? So it was already out and it was a mainstream handheld. But the Game Boy Advance sold 84K. Okay? I want you guys to understand that. For those listening, in April 2006, the Game Boy Advance outsold the PlayStation 3. I want you to hear that. I'm not bullshitting. I wish I could. Can I post this link up on the chat box? Let me see if I'm allowed to do it. It's my chat box, right? I should be able to do it. Yep, there it goes. Go click on that link, guys. Just click on it if you think I'm bullshitting. I don't bullshit with you. 6 months after PS3 launch, the Game Boy Advance is outselling it in America. The Game Boy Advance in 2007. When did the Game Boy Advance come out? Let me look at that. NPD. Let me tell you that. Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Advance came out. You know what I'm saying? Let me look at Wiki. Game Boy Advance launched in North America June 11th, 2001. June 11th, 2001. And 6 years later, the Game Boy Advance outsold the PS3. So when Xbox dudes are saying the PS3 so well, no, I own the sucker. I bought it February of 2006. You know what I'm saying? And believe me, until the Slim came out, I felt that that console was gonna go fucking away like the Dreamcast. You know what I'm saying? Because it was getting outsold all the fucking time, all the time. Let me give you another article. I'm gonna post for you guys. You think I'm bullshit? And this article is 2009. All right, I'm gonna look for it. Let me get up. Let me see. Let me see. Yep, here you go. This is a quick first link. Just type in Bobby Kotick not supporting PS3. This is a 2009 article, right? Activision might stop supporting Sony. This came out in June 2009. Activision CEO Bobby Kotick has said that his company may have to stop supporting the PlayStation 3 if Sony does not drop the price of the luxury console. Because if they don't, the attach rate, the number of games each console owners buy are likely to slow. If we are being realistic, we may have to stop supporting Sony. You know what I'm saying? The man was not liking PlayStation sales. It's the truth. And I'm gonna post that link for you guys right here too, if you think I'm lying. Right there. There you go. There's the link right there. You know what I'm saying? This is 2009. You know, when your console has been out for 3 years and you got Activision, who at the time had the hottest IP out, Call of Duty, and he goes on the air and says, hey, I may have to stop supporting this platform because it's not selling. You need to drop the price. You need to do something. The console was not selling. Do not let anyone fool you. A $600 console, Scorpio will not sell. It will not sell. It would be a disaster for that console. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. And if people go, well, it's a premium console, just buy an Xbox One S if you can't afford it. Then what's the point of the damn Scorpio? The point is you want gamers to have access to the best experience possible, not to settle. You know what I'm saying? Now, I granted, you know, there's going to be people who are going to go for the low end console because of income and stuff like that. But don't make it out of reach to even people who are considering. Because you got people who are considering the Scorpio, but you put that thing at $600, they're going to just say no outright. Because that is a lot to chew on for a gaming console. It's that $600 price tag, it's a killer of a console. You know what I'm saying? Don't let no one fool you. $600 consoles do not sell. They don't. Point blank. You know what I'm saying? And I would think Microsoft is smart enough, so the most they're gonna go is $499, $500. Now it's gonna be a challenge. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a challenge for Scorpio, but I think it's manageable, much more manageable than a $600. You know what I'm saying? And the $500 price tag is still going to be a little bit of a challenge because I could foresee Sony next year with the year head start, they'll drop the price of the Pro to $350. So now you're talking about a $150 gap between the Scorpio and the Pro, you know, and that's going to put gamers in a position where, yeah, Scorpio has the power and the performance, but is it worth $150 more? Because you could buy a Pro and maybe get 3 games, you know, subscription, all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's the chess match Microsoft and PlayStation is going to be playing. Microsoft and Sony is going to be playing next year, October, November timeframe. But I will say this: if Microsoft don't release games early in the year, they're going to leave all the conversation that's going on to be about Sony, to be about PlayStation specifically. You got to release Crackdown early. You got to release Sea of Thieves. You got to release these games. You got to make sure gamers have stuff to talk about other than Scorpio, which is just a conversation piece. You know what I'm saying? And that's the storm that's coming for you guys. Microsoft needs to release games. Let gamers talk about Microsoft games. Don't create a scenario where we're just talking about console hardware. Because as far as it is, it's over. Hardware talk is over for the PlayStation view. Now it's just going to be all about the games, conversation about the games. Microsoft needs to be in on that. Release Crackdown, release Scalebound. You know what I'm saying? You know, Sea of Thieves and all that stuff. Just push them out there, get them out there. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry, those games will still be relevant when Scorpio comes out. You know, gamers will still be interested in buying these games. If these games are good, they'll go through the test of time. You know what I mean? Granted, the biggest sales are at the initial launch, but don't worry. If these games have legs, they'll do fine. You know what I'm saying? They will still be available. You know, it's just like Uncharted 4. Uncharted 4 came out in May, right? It came out in May. But if you never owned the PlayStation 4 and you bought a Pro this November, guess which game chances are you're going to be buying? You're going to be buying Uncharted 4. Doesn't matter if it came out 6 or 7 or 8 months ago. If you never played it and you never had the opportunity to play it, you're going to play it. It's like Halo 5. You think people who are buying Xbox for the first time now aren't buying Halo 5? Just simply because it came out last year? No, they're going to buy it. Good games have long legs. You know what I'm saying? So that's the storm Microsoft is going to be approaching next year. A lot of people don't see it. I hope Microsoft sees it. I hope what I'm talking about starts the conversation. I hope the Xbox community talks about this conversation. You're like, hey, what's Microsoft doing? When are you releasing the games? Because some of these major Xbox channels, they have the eyes and ears of, the big wigs at Microsoft. They need to tell them, do not delay these games or do not purposely hold on, release them. Allow the community, you Xbox dudes, to talk about it. Because on the PlayStation side, I'm telling you, I'm good. As a PlayStation dude, I am more than happy with the console I'm playing on. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get the last. Well, I'm gonna check on The Last of Us. I keep saying The Last of Us. The Last Guardian reviews. You know what I'm saying? Because my main thing is, the build and the quality of the game and stuff. But I just want to see some live streams, and then as long as it looks good, I don't see some crazy shit. I'm gonna buy it. January, Gravity Rush 2 is out. Yakuza, so I'm gonna see which one of those two I get. February, I'm definitely getting Neo and Horizon Zero Dawn. March, I gotta get MLB Hall of Fame edition. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm also looking for it's a game called Valkyria Chronicles, like the sequel, or the next chapter of it is coming out PS4. So I'm gonna be looking out for that. There's some games that's gonna drain my pocket, and then I might be getting a Pro sometime in March or February, March time frame in a 4K TV. I know I wasn't big on that, but once I saw it live in front of my face, I was like, wow, man, it's amazing. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of good things is coming on the PlayStation side. A lot of good games, a lot of quality games, a lot of variety. You know what I'm saying? A lot of big titles. The Horizon is like the big new IP, just kick off 2017. So there's gonna be a lot of stuff. Sony's gonna be pushing the game, and then Sony also has PlayStation Experience in December. So who knows what else we'll see, what new products we'll see, because they also make new announcement there. In fact, it was last year in December, Sony announced Neo and stuff like that. So it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a crazy time, all right? So anyway, that's it. But before I go, I just want to open up, because I always like to do this at the end of my show, is open up to any questions to anybody that's here. What you call it? Is there anybody here that has a question? Before I go, because it's my way. You know what I'm saying? It's my way for now to thank you guys. Like I always say, you guys take the time to listen, so I appreciate it. So if you guys don't have a question, I'll close it up. You know what I'm saying? Because it's already 8:00. And I know we all want to get into gaming. That's what I'm saying. That's one thing I don't like. I try not to do the 2-hour, 3-hour podcast. I think that's too long. I just want you guys to I appreciate your time, but I don't want to take all of it up. You know what I'm saying? So I am conscious of times. So anyway, I think there's no questions. But anyway, hey, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're listening to the recorded podcast, I hope you enjoy it. Let me know. Hey, you guys have been great with the comments and the criticisms. Hey, keep it up, man. I'm all about the criticism. I'm all about the critiques. Tell me how to improve my channel, what I need to do. Just hit it up there. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, it's a little bit of entertainment. I don't want to bore you guys to death and stuff like that. But by all means, hit me up, critique, leave comments. You know what I'm saying? Over there. This is episode 13. Hopefully by episode 50, I got this shit down packed and stuff like that. But anyway, I appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. This is your boy, Porter Rock. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much. You know this sound. I'm saying 60 Frames No Lag podcast. I will see you next week. I'm going to try to arrange some guests. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to mix it up a little bit, see if I can get some ponies and Xbox up in here. Cause a little ruckus. Have a little laugh, a few jokes and stuff like that. But anyway, I wanted to do a one-on-one with you guys directly. You know what I'm saying? Since I didn't push out enough news. But anyway, You guys take care. You guys are awesome. And you guys have a great night. This is your boy Porterock. I'm out. 60 frames. No lag podcast.